But I would love to hear what you're thinking about the NFC and what's going on with the NFC and their picks coming to
So
this draft.
for me, the NFC, we'll start with the East again. The NFC East, the winner for me is the New York Giants. Um,
Giants.
Getting Harbaugh into a franchise that desperately needs someone to just grab this crying 16-year-old and tell her to go to
Yeah,
school and tell her she's beautiful. That's horrible.
to
You guys can
stabilize,
do it.
you can do it.
You can do it. And that's horrible. As a great coach. And they had such a good draft. Getting Arvell Reese, come on.
Yeah, yeah,
Happy to see that. You lose Dexter Lawrence, gain Arvell Reese. Yeah. And on top of that, you lose Dexter Lawrence. Because of that, you get a second first round pick and get Frances Mngawu.
mm-hmm.
What are we talking about? Jackson Dart, secured. Now, on top of
Easy.
that, you get Colton Hood on the back end as a
Mm.
cornerback. Yeah, watch out for this Giants defense because let me tell you, I'm excited for all the young players on this defense and on this roster to show out with an experienced head coach that all he's pretty much is going to tell them, Jackson Dart, hey, stop getting hit in the head,
Yep. That's it.
play a little smarter. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
um, fuck is his name?
Scatterboo?
Scatterboo. We love it. Keep running the way you're running. Just work on your tendons a little bit, get some work after the game. So that
Yeah.
way, you're healthy and you can elongate, you can last the full season because running backs' careers are, that's the only concern. And I'm happy Harbaugh's there because he's not going to run Scatterboon to the ground like
Exactly.
Dayball kind of was trying to keep his job. And so that's why he got injured. But keeping that balance, I think, and having all that young roster and getting that young, really good talent that I believe in, got to give the Giants an A and my winner of the NFC East. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. Same thing. I give him an A. Like it's not even close. And you mentioned obviously like the recent Hood. I have here as well Fields and Magoa, just protection for Dart, and then also a solid target for him. Wide receiver is sitting at 6'5". So in those moments where he's scrambling and he may not be able to, he might have a spy on him, or there might be an issue with he's not be able to run up the field. Defenses are learning what he's doing and they're better prepared for what he's doing. Now he has a target to avoid things like that happening. So in those moments where the safeties are forced up a little bit because he might rush the ball, or the opposing team is a little bit concerned about what he might be doing, again having that spy for him all game, his receivers will actually be able to bail him out, which will be good for that team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious how Jackson Dart is going to transition into his second year, but he also has a more experienced head coach in there.
Yeah.
And Lamar Jackson, I can say Harbaugh didn't ruin his career, but he definitely didn't give him the Super Bowl, and that's why I ended up not making the playoffs and all these other
Hmm.
decisions. But I can say that Harbaugh and his quarterback definitely had a good relationship. And so seeing that in the future with him and Jackson Dart, I mean,
It's
you
gonna be
hope,
exciting to watch.
yeah, it's definitely gonna be a good team to watch. Now in the division though, how'd you
Hmm.
feel about the Eagles coming in last second? We all saw that clip. We gotta talk about it. We're talking about the East. I know it's later down the road,
Uh,
but the Eagles coming in grabbing that pick. I mean,
yeah,
the Eagles doing Eagles things. You
yeah.
have who else is in the East, bro? Fucking I keep forgetting, dude. Who's else in the East? Give me them. NFC East, do you know?
Not the Bears. Not. Wait, hold on, let me pull it up.
It's
Let me take a.
that's true, dude. Yeah. Hold up. Chat little intermission.
Oh, the Commanders.
Yeah. Commanders. That's right.
And
Commanders, Eagles, Giants,
Cowboys.
and Cowboys.
Cowboys.
So, what made you disregard those three? Who we can say some of those teams in that division also have really good drafts.
Yeah,
I would say got really good players. Not really good drafts, but got really good
yeah,
players that make the draft for them a bit more exciting and made
yeah.
some moves. What
Hmm.
made it definitive for you that the Giants, who got an A, and some other teams who potentially got A's in that division, what made the Giants stick out to you the most?
The things that maybe stand out to me the most would be Jackson Dart being on the Giants
Mm.
and Jalen Hurts being on the Eagles.
Mm.
If Jalen Hurts wasn't on the Eagles, I think I would have paid more attention to them. But I have no love for his game. I think that I understand why people think he's a good quarterback, but man, oh man, it's hard to watch, and it's not entirely his fault. The Eagles in general are a team that are hard to watch because of the fact that another situation, another moment. I think that every team has like season-defining moments, and the Eagles unfortunately had that when they did the tush push 4 plays in a row. When you do something like that, fans are obviously going to be upset. It doesn't take much for me to not want to watch a team, and that right there, I have no interest in watching you ever again. Obviously, the Eagles are going to be scary next year. They're scary every year, basically. You can't really do much about that. And them now being able to pick up, who was it? Lemon.
Mm-hmm.
You lose AJ Brown, and it's like, why would you let AJ Brown go? Like he's gonna one of the best receivers like in the league currently. And like, oh, we're just getting this kid that's probably just as good as him, if not close to that. And it's like, oh, okay, great. So there's no stopping them
And he was at the Sixers game with Devontae Smith already.
already. Of course, great team chemistry, team bonding. I can't have shit around.
Yeah, bro. The Eagles are no joke. Yeah, I mean, Commanders had a solid first round pick. And I love Dan Quinn and I love JD5. JD5 is a good quarterback, a young quarterback, and it sucked that he got injured this past season, but excited to see what happens in his third year in the NFL. We're already, dude, think about that. The draft class, which everyone like is talking about next year, but the draft class from 3 years ago now was, and the quarterbacks was spectacular. Like you have to think, all the quarterbacks that panned out: Caleb Williams, Bo Nix. We have who else made the playoffs?
Was it Jordan Love? Was it?
Jaden, no, was it? No, Jordan Love. No, you had
Okay.
JD5 making his rookie year. You have Caleb Williams making the playoffs this past year. You had Bo Nix potentially going to the Super Bowl this past
so
year.
close.
So close. And he made that amazing pass on the last play of the game that broke his ankle. Tough. So you have CJ Stroud the second round? No, he wasn't second overall in that draft. Who else was taken? You have Michael Penix. Drake May was in the Super Bowl. Apologies. Hello, how could I forget? Drake May was in the Super Bowl. So that draft class of quarterbacks, exciting to watch, and I'm excited to see how that goes. Let's head to the north, baby. Let's head to the north. Someone in chat wanted to figure out what's going on with the Lions. Let me tell you, nothing's going on with the Lions. Because my winner for the NFC North is the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, and that's understandable. But why do you have the Bears? Why you pick the Bears?
I gave the Bears an A, and why I picked them was because they got Dylan Thieneman that helps their defensive backs with the loss of a few DBs in the free agency. Now, we know they have an amazing secondary defensive coach. But losing pieces in that back end of your defense can hurt you in the long run, as we saw with the Rams losing to Seattle because no one could lock down Jackson Smith and Jigba. But getting someone to help that and fill in the gaps in the secondary that they lost is definitely a plus in my eyes, and they got a really good guy. And on top of that, they got Logan Jones. Now, someone who isn't on their first or second year of watching NFL. I watch also, this is my first year watching college football. So for me, college football is currently my new sport that I'm trying to get into. And something I've learned this past season was that Iowa offensive linemen have done really well in the league. And getting Logan Jones, another, a center with all-pro Super Bowl champion Joe Tooney at the left guard, and the starting Iowa center, I think for me that makes a great combination for the long run, and building that offensive line under Ben Johnson with already a young running back core that they got from last year in Marks. No, not Marks. What's his name? Woody Marks is on the Texans.
Yes, he is.
But they got a running back last year that has panned out for them, and they had a lot of great rookies this past year. So
for the Bears, you mean?
For the Bears, yeah. They had a lot of good. No, but Swift, then it was another guy after Swift. He had a long name, and he broke for a long tackle in the playoff, a long run in the playoffs.
Okay.
If you don't mind looking that up for me, please.
Yeah.
And so adding that and center is really good. And then also on top of that, they got more targets for Caleb Williams
Yeah.
and Sam Roush and Zavonian Thomas. You got a tight end and a wide receiver in the third round back to back after losing DJ
Mm,
Moore to the Bills on a great trade that in the long run pans out because now you have more options. You have enough options already, but adding more depth is never a bad thing. And in a Ben Johnson offense, oof, watch
mm.
out. Watch out.
Kyle Manungai,
Yes, Manungai.
Rutgers University.
Getting Manungai to pop off like he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Ben Johnson's pick. He was there. That was his rookie
Mm-hmm.
as head coach. How many rookies from Ben Johnson we saw do really well, not only in the season, but in the playoffs? Give me the
Yeah.
Bears winning the NFC North with an A. Shout out Bears. Bear down.
Bears.
The
Yeah, man, I
Bears.
respect it. It's only right that I counter your point a little bit by
Yeah.
just picking the
Yeah.
Packers.
Interesting pick.
Yeah. Again, they're another team that, for whatever reason this season, I'm really intrigued by the teams that are able to get solid picks even when they don't have a first round pick. I mean, maybe it's something that happens every season with the NFL. I can't be sure. This is my first time looking at the draft this closely, but they were able to get Brandon Siss, Chris McKellen, and Danny Dennis Sutton. All
Mm-hmm.
of those are solid players and will help the team out. They doomed themselves a little bit by not having a first round pick, but doing a good job filling the positions anyways.
Mm-hmm.
They were a few good plays away last season from making a deep, deep run in the playoffs, potentially getting to the Super Bowl. Who knows? When you watch it, it just feels like everyone on the team does what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
People can either, people call that either boring or efficient. I call it efficient. And again, having a guy that's 6'6", 260 sitting on the edge, that's not bad for them either.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, interesting how after the Rams said fuck the first round picks for Matthew Stafford, a lot of teams were like, I'm not going to give 2 first round picks, but I'll give 1.
Yeah.
I'll give 1 for a player. And a lot of teams did that this past season. We saw that across the league for Sauce Gardner. We saw it for Micah Parsons. We might see it for A.J. Brown. Like, a lot of teams now not having a first round pick in the draft that they don't really, especially like if you feel like you don't really need anything in the first
Exactly.
round, and the first round pick is a luxury pick and not like a necessity pick. And so having veteran guys for first round picks, especially when statistically it shows that 50% of the people drafted don't stay in the league,
Yeah.
like that's, there's going to be a bunch of bust as there always is in the first round. And watching that this year, especially now doing this, watching as closely as we will be, I'm curious how many busts really happen in the first round.
Yeah.
But
Again, looking so closely at it will tell us a lot.
and how did those first round picks trades work out for the players that each team got? But
Hmm.
I'm with you. I like the Packers. I mean, I think Matt LaFleur got in his head too much, tried too hard to win, and overcomplicated things for Jordan Love. I think he overcoached in the playoffs for sure. But they settle
Hmm.
down, find their groove. They'll be all right.
I think so too.
So would you grade the Packers?
I give the Packers where is that? I gave them A minus.
A minus.
Yes, sir.
A minus on the Packers. Shout out the North. Let's head back to the South. I want you to start because, please.
I know. No, I know.
Please.
The thing is, I'm happy for the Panthers. I'm glad that they were able to get the pieces that they got, but they are one of those teams that every time I watch them, it just doesn't feel like I'm watching actual football. It doesn't make sense that they win some of these games. And you know what game I'm referring to in particular. When they played the Rams, and they were somehow in that game, the game that Matthew Stafford, out of nowhere, throws 2 interceptions against a decent defense.
In the rain.
In the rain. Exactly. Let's not forget the rain. Whoa. Let's not forget the rain. So I'm happy for them. I'm glad they got pieces. Yeah, but I picked the Falcons here, and the Falcons did terrible. Their entire draft was terrible. But that goes to show you that the rest of the South also did terrible. In my opinion, at least. Avion Terrell and Zachariah Branch, another team that hurt themselves not having a first round pick. Once again, they steal a couple solid picks. taking a solid defensive player and a solid offensive player sets them up to at least be comfortable going into the season. Someone made an interesting point too. I was like watching a couple clips to kind of get some insight here, and they said that for the first time in a long time, the Falcons took a Georgia player. The fans were complaining about that for a while, so they adhered to the requests of the fans, which I love. But again, I choose the Falcons here, and I give them a B minus, if not a C plus. They didn't do anything impressive, nothing too crazy, but I refuse to give the Panthers their flowers.
No, you're just a hater. The Panthers are my winner. He's talking like that because we shared each other's notes, and he knows who my picks are and I know who his picks are. And for some reason, he's talking shit on my picks. I don't know why.
But I'm talking shit on your picks. I'm talking shit
on the team. You're talking shit on the team. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Listen,
and everyone's like, "Oh,
no.
The Panthers."
You have to, when you lose to a team, you have to learn to respect them. And when you play them again in the playoffs, and it gets a little dicey, you learn to respect them. The Panthers are, as the Pat McAfee show would say, a good football team. I don't know. I give the Panthers an A. They got Freeland, an offensive tackle out of Georgia. We're talking about Georgia players, but they got an offensive tackle out of Georgia. Their running game was scary last year. They lost, I think it was one of the running backs, but the other one was good enough that they didn't care. They fed him the ball more, knowing the other one was going to leave. I have faith in David Canales. Shout out the Latinos as well. Getting Lee Hunter from Texas Tech. Texas Tech from this past season, and from, again, me watching closely this year, me watching all the sports analysts speak about college football, Texas Tech has produced amazing defensive players.
Oh, we have a third addition to the conversation.
Ooh, what is up, Nike Drip Drops? I have to fix the camera angles.
I'll let you to it. My fault.
No, you're good, brother. You're good.
Here for you, sir, though.
Nike Drip Drops.
That's my source right there, in case y'all are wondering.
That's one of our sources. That's one of our most intense sources. He gives us...
So when the bets fall through,
yeah,
can't blame me.
Blame Nike.
Blame Nike.
Nike is... He's the one that told David that the Falcons won the draft in the NFC South. Anyways.
Yeah, it wasn't me. It was him.
Anyways, Lee Hunter, shout out Nike. Lee Hunter, again, defensive tackle from Texas Tech. The head coach has done wonders for that program, and they have gotten a lot of funding, but their defense has been amazing, especially in the front seven. And I think a steal from the sources I was getting, from now on it's an inside joke, like from our sources, Nike. That's good. That's good shit. But from the sources I was reading upon, apparently Wheatley from, I don't know, is a steal in the 5th round, helping the secondary, and has given teams problems. Top teams in the college football playoffs problems. So for that reason, I give the Panthers, I think they have a stout team already, and they just got extra pieces to make sure they can make a deeper run in the playoffs and secure a second division title in a row. So interesting to see. The NFC South has always been a crappy division. I don't expect either team to get potentially more than 10 wins, but if there's any team that can do it, it would be the Panthers, in my opinion, because of the roster they have and the pieces they added in the draft.
That is a fact.
Give them an A. Gotta give them an A. What would you grade the Panthers draft?
If I gave the Falcons a B minus, I would give the Panthers a B minus as well. And again, the Falcons take the edge simply because of the Panthers' history.
All right. Let's get to the NFC West.
Oh God!
Home of the Rams.
Home of the Rams. This is potentially the worst
Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks as well.
Let's not forget.
Who did you pick winning the NFC West draft?
So here's the thing. The reason I chose this team is because the other 3 teams did so horrible that it only allowed for this team to be in contention. And that team was the Cardinals. And again, That's not saying much. I give the Cardinals a C plus, if not a B minus at the most.
They
I
got
did not. I don't
Jeremiah
think they did.
Love.
Sure. What else?
Go ahead.
Okay. Listen, I love Jeremiah Love. Love the name Love. Love the guy already. But we're talking about a team that had a quarterback that had over 500 passing attempts on the season. It got to the point where the Cardinals' offensive scheme book was so obvious that teams were not even scared about what they might do. The Cardinals at one point were firing on all cylinders, scoring very easily. But there were those moments where Jacoby Brissett, similar to Danny Jones, would get hit, and you see him with his eyes like the birds flying around his head. And he gets up. They pull him off the off the field for a second. He goes back out there. Offense stalls.
Yeah.
I do like that they got Carson Beck as well. I think that here's what I'll say about Carson Beck, and
We watched the I streamed the college final,
yeah,
right?
we watched
Yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah.
watched it. Okay.
Carson Beck. I'm gonna give you some advice here, man.
Mm.
I think you spend a little bit too much time with Miami women.
Mm.
What I need you to do is find a nice Arizona girl.
Mm-hmm.
She'll treat you right.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get right back to where you need to be. The
Settle
demons will be
down.
gone.
Yep.
Settle down. The demons will be gone because the Miami women themselves are demons, so you can never escape them. So I do love what the the Cardinals got here with Jeremiah Love and Carson Beck. I wasn't impressed by any of the draft picks or any of the picks within this division, especially, and we'll get to it, especially the Rams.
Tough. I mean, yeah, the Rams were not my winner of the West as a Rams fan either. Not necessarily how to feel about that, but it's a process. And as a long-time football fan, I've learned to just trust the process. And
Yeah.
we'll definitely talk about that after this, because I think the Cardinals also won the draft, but I give them an A. Because they got Jeremiah Love, in my opinion, the best player in the draft, was amazing at Notre Dame. But they also got Chase Benasantes, one of the best guards in the entire draft. Was a freshman All-American, has started all 3 of his years in college football. And you get a running back, and then you get an offensive lineman, an interior offensive lineman, to help supplement that running back. And we already talked about Carson Beck. Beck played well, I think, in college, but we all know the last pass he ever had in college was an interception to cost him the title. But he did get his team there, and he played well enough to get his team there. So I'm excited to see how the new head coach of Mike LaFleur, being in a Rams offensive coordinator for 2 years, I think that offense is going to become way better. And the Cardinals have Trey McBride, who's one of my favorite players in the league. If they can feed him the rock, and they get Jeremiah Love, and they get a comparable quarterback in there that can make the right reads and the right throws, I think the Cardinals aren't going to win a division because of the other teams in the division, but have definitely made major improvements from this draft.
That's
Now,
true.
so what is your take on the Rams being the biggest losers in this division?
There's not even a conversation to be had here. I mean, the biggest losers of the entire draft is probably the Rams.
And the
If not
Rams is
like,
the back. That's crazy. Go ahead.
yeah, again, the Rams have been a consistent threat for years now.
Yeah.
You have a quarterback coming off of an MVP season, probably 2 in a row, for being realistic. He probably could have won it the year before too, but for the sake of argument, just the most recent season, MVP season.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of plays away from getting to Super Bowl. If they were in the Super Bowl, they would have won Super Bowl. Let's make that clear. It wouldn't have even been close. Just a couple bad plays, and it gets on top of them. The biggest thing for me, beyond all of that, beyond the incredible seasons, beyond the commentators saying that they've been solid for the last couple of years, beyond the quarterback being incredible, is the head coach's reaction.
Mm-hmm.
When Sean McVay reacts the way he does to them picking a quarterback, that's when you know that they're in a bad spot.
Yeah.
There's no level of excitement. You have a team whose offense is already unstoppable. 2 receivers that can get 3 passing or receiving touchdowns a game very easily if they wanted to. Listen, I know Puka's been in and out of rehab or whatever. We'll get back, buddy.
Yeah.
Get off the streams first of all.
Yeah. Come on this
Yeah.
one. But
Come on, this one.
nobody
Stay away
else
from
is.
the woman for like a year. Take a little avow abstinence for a
Yeah,
year from women because you need some help.
yeah. Be celibate for a bit. Take some time
So,
off.
just a little bit. So my confusion comes with, again, you have a solid offense already. The defense could use a little bit of help. No, let's bolster the offense some more. I understand the point you made before about, like, you need depth. If the quarterback gets hurt, you need someone to step in for him. I just think this was a really bad pick. And for them to, again, like, if I'm a
Bad pick
franchise
being Ty
quarterback,
Simpson, first round pick, 13.
yes, Tyson, yeah, first round pick, yeah, first round. You have your pick in, like, you have, like, the bin is still full of apples. You can take any apple you want, and it sends the wrong message to the franchise quarterback as well, in my opinion. And again, this is only, like, I'm a guy that's been watching the league now for 2 years. I look at it from more of like a mental or emotional point of view. How do you receive your team taking a young QB when you've given them the best season possible, being nearly like 40 years old?
Right, but in the beginning of the year, everyone was thinking it was a clone because he was in a metal tube for 3 weeks in training camp and had back problems, and we didn't even know if he was going to play, let alone start week 1.
Yeah, but he did. Not only did he play, he gave them the best season I think he's given them to date.
And he was debating about whether retiring or not at the end of this season.
Right.
So it's like, in my mind, as a Rams fan,
Mm-hmm.
in the moment, I was pissed because I would have got Ruben Bain Jr. in a heartbeat. I was like, we're getting Ruben Bain. Like,
You could probably name 5 guys you would have taken first.
Dude, for sure. Wide receivers out the galore, like an offensive tackle because Robert Hyvenstein has been injured and we've had like problems in the offensive line. So like getting a young offensive tackle to me would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what this pick says to me. We're getting AJ Brown or we're getting George Pickens.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you pick Ty Simpson in the first round as the Rams, that means to me that the third wide receiver problem that we had last year, where we didn't really have a third, or you have faith in Zaire Smith, as your third wide receiver, or you're also like, we're doing mainly 13 personnel. Do we even really need depth in the wide receiver room? So getting Ty Simpson to me, very frustrating in the moment because I definitely would have got Ruben Bain in a heart. Like, for me, it would have been like, I was like, we get Ruben Bain here, we win the Super Bowl. In my mind, like, we get Ruben Bain, we win the Super Bowl. Like, he wasn't taking it at all, and he was sliding and sliding. I was like, dude, come on. But here's where my justification kind of comes into it, not just the fact of adding depth, but the fact of pissing everybody else off in the league by taking the second best quarterback in the first round. Here's why. We take Ruben Bain. The Cardinals come back in to later half of the first round and get Ty Simpson. 1,000%. Or the Steelers take Ty Simpson. Or somebody else who needs a quarterback. I think people were trying to say, like, oh, Ty Simpson's not that good, blah, blah, blah. But if another team took him in the first round, all of us would be like, that makes sense. Because they need a quarterback. We don't need one yet. So getting Ty Simpson now is very much like, yeah, we're building for the future. We don't need a first-round player on our roster. And I can agree to that. We already solved our problem, was cornerback. We were one cornerback away from winning the Super Bowl. We retained a majority of our key pieces on offense and on defense. You know why? Because we draft them or we sign them because we're a good organization. We're not pressed about losing this player, having to go, like, we release Cooper Kupp. We got Devontae Adams. Hello, Devontae Adams retired. We're gonna go get AJ Brown to help Puka, or we're gonna get George Pickens, or we're gonna have to draft somebody later, or in the back half. We got CJ Daniels. I'm happy about that pick, especially because like CJ Daniels was one of my favorite players to watch, and at least we got somebody from Miami. Because, bro, I was really hoping for Ruben Bain. If it was me, I would have drafted Ruben Bain 1,000%. However, me 5 years down the road could be talking completely different. That's the best part about the draft. You don't know until you know.
True.
Because if Matthew Stafford gets injured week 4, now the Rams are a genius for having Ty Simpson prodigy in the back to be a backup. If
True.
Matthew Stafford stays healthy the entire year and we win a Super Bowl and he doesn't play a snap, it was a waste of a pick. I agree. But we don't know. And so in that regards, I let go of the emotions and just have learned. I've been a Rams fan for over 10 years now. Trust Sean McVay. Trust Les Snead. That's all I can do.